It's all about the greater good. That's right, Mox, the greater good! It's always about the greater good. Yeah, Mox, that's right, the greater good! Tony, we're kind of filming something right now. What are you even doing here? Well, Mox, I'm just here to lead all the people here in Antonio Inoki's iconic chant. Say it with me. No, Tony, no, you don't need to say that. The last time you did it, you were in the Tacoma Dome in front of a fairly decent-sized crowd for what we were running. No, don't do that. You're just going to run more people off. No, I'm going to say it. Tony, we will go to a Fulham FC game. We'll go to a Jaguars game. We'll get season tickets. Just don't do that. Thanks, guys. I'm Charles Rankin with my review of AEW Dynamite from the Maverick Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Maverick! They certainly could have used Top Gun Maverick. They could have used the 1994 Western comedy with Mel Gibson and other people, Maverick. Who remembers that? Who remembers that movie? It was certainly something that more people saw in theaters than saw this particular program. So, yeah, the arena holds around 12,000 people. They had 2,500 to 3,000. And look, I'm just going to shout a friend of mine in Texas for sharing a few little tidbits with me last week that I forgot to mention because I was too fired up. So, the last time that they hit 900,000 for an average and the ratings was around this time last year. And then the last time they hit 800,000 was April of this year. Okay. I know that they got a big television increase. You know, maybe not everything that some of the fans thought they would, but they got enough of an increase. They're going to stay on Warner Bros. Discovery, have the streaming deal on Max, and it's going to work out where wrestlers are going to be able to apply their trade, and that's great. More options, more healthy options is important for the professional wrestling industry. But I'm going to say same goddamn thing that I've been saying for a while. Because the gloves are off as far as AEW. I have killed WWE to the point I don't even review WWE weekly anymore. AEW is not giving me fucking reasons to want to review weekly anymore. And I'm going to say right now that if Tony Khan thinks that he can produce television programs like this week after week after week, and he's not going to have a huge drop in ratings with some of the shit that he presented here, some of the shit he has been presenting, and some of the shit he's going to present, he is going to be goddamn lucky if anybody is watching this damn thing. People are going to drop like flies. They can't draw crowds at all. Yeah, in the Tacoma Dome, they might have gotten 7,000 people. They said 8,000. I'll eat your fucking hat. There were gaps of seats. Because I was there. Check out my review of that. And I'm going to say once again, Tony Khan killed Washington State as a goddamn market. If he tries running the Angel of the Winds Arena where he ran the May Dynamite, the one that I was at with my good friend Roxy, there were 3,000 people there. If they market a pay-per-view, they might be able to get 6,000 people. But if they ever run in Seattle, if they ever try to run Tacoma, they're not going to get more than about maybe 5,000 if they're lucky. He's killed Washington State. Good fucking job, Tony. You've managed to kill a state in about 2 years. So anyway, right said Mox, all their antics and everything. Is any of this beneficial to wrestling? No. Why is Mox in the desert? I'm traveling the same desert Joseph Smith crossed to establish the Mormon, religion. Badass. So there we go. Yeah, I know some people that are Mormons. I don't really goddamn care. Because, whatever, you guys are cool. I had to have some fun. So, the music was so goddamn loud, the background music, that he said something about a caterpillar, I think. This segment should have been run over by a goddamn caterpillar, and I'm not talking about the very hungry caterpillar, or the more Cinemax version, the very hung caterpillar. So, they're still driving that truck around. That truck must have great gas mileage. For the greater good, always for the greater good. Okay, there are various talents outside, including the Goon Squad. It's like, hurry up before I call the Brute Squad. I'm on the Brute Squad. You are the Brute Squad. Why is the Dark Order still there? Private Party is there. Top Flight, Mark Briscoe, Daniel Garcia. A few of those are in matches on this particular card, yet they're waiting out there to potentially suffer harm before Mark Briscoe has to defend the Ring of Honor Championship, and Private Party and Daniel Garcia are in the main event. People are saying this is like an invading force. Oh, it's kind of like, the concerted effort to fight back against the NWO. The difference is the NWO drew money and ratings. Claudio I love him as a talent. He doesn't mean anything. Wheeler, I'm helping Yuta. I saw people in the goddamn crowd at Wrestle Dream that were bigger than Wheeler Yuta. Marina Shafir, we still don't know her, and Mox, it has gotten to the point where I just don't want to see Mox anymore. They have so many people that they could just let the contracts expire. Tony Khan could just say, hey, you've served me well, let the contracts expire, and get some fresh faces. Tune some things up. Send some people to Japan. Send some people to Impact. Send some people to Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. I don't care. Do something. So, commentary. Shivani was bouncing back to doing some interviews in the ring, but you had Excalibur, Shivani, and Matt Menard. I have a question. Who the fuck does Matt Menard have, bad images of, to the point that does he have them on a flash drive, so he's holding them, hostage and, creating a, whole blackmail situation, because there's no excuse otherwise for this motherfucker to be on commentary. He is awful. As a person, I'm not saying he's awful. As a commentator, this was soul-crushingly bad. The crowd sounded small. Here's Hangman. I noticed with every single promo that was set, or at least between Hangman Fletcher and maybe one other person, they were talking like this, and I did this, I don't need you anymore, oh my god. Hangman has been trying to make this heel turn work. He mentions Austin Gunn, and then Colton Gunn jumps him, and then Colton hurls himself stupidly over the barricade. Good tactic there, young man. Hangman gets his belt, and then here's Jay White and Juice Robinson. He says, you can't hide from me, but with that accent, it sounded like he said a naughty word, and I laughed. It's 4-1 to me if, Christian hadn't gotten a favor. It would be 5-0, and they're going to have a match. I imagine a strap match, probably a full gear, whatever. Package on Sammy. He's an AEW original, reminding us that he has been there for 5 years. I met Sammy at one of the last indie shows he did before he showed up at on AEW. And you know what? To be perfectly honest, he was nice enough to the people. He doesn't mean shit now. I'm sorry, he doesn't. Sheldon and MVP, they are here to, break necks and cash checks, all that, We're ready to, just deliver out misery. There were some good lines here from MVP. So now we get Shelton versus Sammy in a match where Shelton looked like a goddamn giant. Shelton tossed Sammy up in the very beginning to a pop. They did some stuff. Menard is god-awful. Sammy tried the whole thing where they recreated the Shelton Benjamin, Shawn Michaels super kick spot. Sammy got hit. And then got hit with the Exploder 1, 2, 3. Why am I going to care about a Sammy Guevara match in 2024? So, Renee is in backstage and Mariah shows up. She has Anna Jay's bag. And then Anna gets in her face and Daniels is trying to get in between them. There is somebody that wanted to get in between Mariah and Anna. Now, who would want to be in between two women like that? Shut up. That being said, they're trying because Anna Jay beat Mariah. It was an eliminator match, so they're going to build to something where they're going to have a match in a couple weeks. So, okay. That's something at least they're trying. They're trying. Then a package on Kyle Fletcher and Ospreay. And here's Shivani to bring out Callis and Fletcher. And look, Fletcher made some good points. He just sounded so goddamn stilted, like he was trying to convince himself of them, that the crowd at one point was saying, wrap it up. They were chanting, wrap it up. Not because you're a heel, but because we don't want to hear this. You became the ace of New Japan. Okada took you under his wing. You stabbed him in the back. You stabbed Kenny Omega in the head with the same screwdriver that I used on you. It's not the same screwdriver, but whatever. And if it is, you guys have the budget to get another screwdriver instead of carrying a screwdriver around with you to every single taping. That sounds really dangerous. But he will break Ospreay's neck. There were lines in here like, Fletcher saying that he was seen as the next big thing. Then Ospreay came in, and then he was seen as the next Will Ospreay. But I'm nothing like you. And then he starts shaving his head, and then he starts shrieking and screaming like he's trying to convince himself. I liked a couple things of this because they're trying to build a feud, but this, god damn it. I'm nothing like you, I'm nothing like you. And they hyped up the future shows on, their upcoming tour. Smart. Do that a little more often and show graphics and say, hey, here's where you can get tickets. Maple Leaf Pro clips. It was nice to hear Mauro Ranallo calling wrestling again. I only got to see some clips of it, but Ricochet taking out Takeshita after Takeshita beat somebody. I don't know who. If you saw the show, let me know. Ricochet said some stuff. Yeah, okay. Payback's a bitch. He also hyped up a match on Rampage. Rampage, soon to be canceled. MVP then hands him a card. Remember when he tried to get Ricochet in the Hurt Business back in WWE? That was a while. Speaking of a while, it should be a while before I have to see Brian Cage on my television again. Him and Lance Archer took on 2 Barbarian cosplayers. I didn't catch the names of them. Nothing against these guys, but one of them just, after doing a move, stood in the goddamn corner waiting for a spot or something. Was he knocked loopy? Was he confused by the fact that he was in Salt Lake? And why are there, isn't it a great thing there are only white people in Salt Lake? And I would feel bad saying that about Salt Lake City, but they cheer Karl Malone and John Stockton. So fuck y'all. No, if you're a good person in Utah, you're awesome. Karl Malone, by the way, yeah, piece of shit. Same with John Stockton. So, nevertheless, a powerbomb choke slam 1, 2, 3. Chuck Taylor is an agent. This company is fucked. He tells Orange Cassidy to step it up. I'm going to say right now, if they give the world title to Orange Cassidy, if they have him be the one to beat Jon Moxley, you might not see me reviewing AEW that much. Because I'm already pretty much on the edge as far as wanting to take this, continue reviewing this stuff. Because I like some of the people in AEW, I just don't like how they're being presented. And if they're not... You give it to Darby, at least Darby, I mean, he's one stupid bump away from being out for a goddamn year, if not a year and a half, but I could see them giving it to Orange Cassidy, and that would be a fucking embarrassment. It would be worse than giving the title to Arquette, because at least Arquette knew he shouldn't have been world champion. You need to go with youth. Orange Cassidy, according to a friend of mine, is over 40. I don't care if people like him. You need to build around people that aren't, so old. And I know 40, 41 may not seem like it's old. Yeah. That's going to be an issue in wrestling. I might actually do a separate video about how age in wrestling is going to be a problem. Because it's not just age, it's mileage. So, Mark Briscoe then took on Chris Jericho, the human wasteland that he is. A ladder war for the Ring of Honor Championship with referee Aubrey. There are weapons all over. Mark bled. Jericho can't go anymore. Brian Keith, who I can't fucking stand one goddamn bit, and I honestly, it's baffling that people think that this guy is really good. Yeah, he saddled with Jericho's group. And all this, every time anybody is associated with Chris Jericho, it does nothing. Rocky Romero shows up. Bill shoves Briscoe off, and Jericho wins the Ring of Honor Championship again. It didn't work the first time they did it. Jericho's now way older. I mean, I know it's only a couple of years, but he is way older, way slower. Bill means absolutely nothing. And what? This does not do the image of Ring of Honor or professional wrestling, in general, any favors. And if you're happy that Chris Jericho won the title, okay, tell me this. Has Chris Jericho been beneficial to this program for the last couple of years? If you can actually answer yes with a straight goddamn face, then I hate to say it, you're probably drunk and you need to be drug tested. We can all like different things, but god damn it. And Tomohiro Ishii showed up. Tony Khan is on copious amounts of drugs at this point. And I like Ishii, but really? So anyway, we have a Statlander package. Statlander and Camille are going to have a match next week. More on that later. Here's Adam Cole. Then here's Strong, Bennett, and Taven. More stuff about friendship. We're going to take out MJF together. Where is Wardlow? Is Hobbs still injured? Where's Ricky Starks? Where are actual people that could be beneficial to this program? And I like Bennett and Taven as a team. They don't mean anything, though, anymore. Strong needs to stop talking. Adam Cole is one, big move away from turning to fucking powder. MJF then shows up on the screen, that is. My God, who was that beauty that was giving him the massage? I mean, he referenced her as Natalia. Holy hell. He beats around the bush a little bit. That's not a euphemism. The dress was short enough, I think we would have been able to tell. Hey-oh. But, hey, Strong and Cole, you want at me? Fine. The first to win 3 matches gets me at Full Gear, but I'm not going to show up again until Full Gear. And you know what? Not the worst idea. Because if they're not going to feature him properly, as far as in matches, then keep him special. Then Penelope Ford says to Jamie Hayter, I was your partner in my last match before I was out for 2 years. Now, was it an injury? I've heard, I'm willing to be corrected, that I believe she had a miscarriage. That her and Kip were expecting a child and she had a miscarriage. If I'm misinformed, I apologize. If I did hear right, regardless, glad Penelope's back. If she did truly suffer that, that is absolutely terrible. No couple should have to go through that. No woman should have to go through that. I have known people that have. So if I was misinformed, I apologize. If it did happen, I feel bad for her. She's back to face Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter then shows up in her Emma Peel era, and she looks great. She says, I'll face you in 2 weeks. Then the House of Black beat up Kevin Koa, Jaden Monroe, and Parada de la Muerte. One gets taken out. And referee Rick Knox was there, by the way. They did bark for Brody. Buddy then calls out Adam Cole. Then they have a stare down backstage and says, I'm going to prove that you're so fragile. Dynamite Fright Night next week. I have a feeling they're going to over-weaponize that show. Then Queen Aminata took on Camille with Mercedes in the corner. To be perfectly honest, that's where Mercedes should be. I'm just going to say right now, Mercedes next to Saraya, the biggest bust that they have signed in the women's division. Ironic for one of them. If you get it, you get it. Saraya was signed to a new 1-year contract for no apparent reason. And, I hate to say it, Mercedes is a waste of money. Or money. They should have done this as a powerhouse match, and whew, there were a couple moments that were okay, but a lot of this was messy. There was a sunset flip spot where I'm like, oh boy. Aminata has gotten better, at least based on what I've seen. There was a reverse DDT for 3, reverse DDT variation. I don't know. Not good. They tried, but it just wasn't good. And hello, Chris Statlander. She shows up and face off with Camille. Mercedes tries to get in her face. Mercedes, sit over there in the corner or go to fucking Hollywood and get the fuck out of wrestling because you don't belong there. I wanted to give her a chance after the New Japan stuff, but she is rotten. And they had a brief scuffle. And then the Job Squad is backstage. The Job Squad 2024. Jeff Jarrett is there, though. By the way, the Patriarchy shows up, minus Luchasaurus, and I hope he heals up just to have a great quality of life regardless. Kip Sabian then runs away. Meanwhile, Hook is there to address who attacked Taz, because he saw the footage. It was Christian. Also, Kip Sabian ended up giving Hook a low blow after Nick nearly landed on his goddamn neck in front of his mother. I've met Nick and his mother. They are 2 very, very nice people. Nick Wayne is an incredible prodigy. Shayna, very, very, very nice. Very nice, I will say. Trying to have respect here. But Christian basically says, this isn't what you think it is. Well, I know what I think it is. Not good. This stuff with Christian has pretty much just turned me... I know he's trying to elevate Nick Wayne. I don't mind Nick as a heel. But this whole stuff with Christian, I cannot imagine that he's got much more than a year left. And him having that contract where he can cash in on the championship at any point. I don't know why Kip is doing this. I don't know why any of this is going on. Garcia and Private Party took on the Bucks and Jack Perry. Referee Rick Knox, because they were probably afraid it would take him 8 years to get back out to the ring because he's 5 million years old and a piece of shit referee. Why the fuck is Rick Knox there? Oh, he's friends with the Bucks. It is all friends wrestling. At one point, Stokely got carried away like he was like he was Peter Dinklage on the set of the most recent Hunger Games. Actually, that's how they used to get the Munchkins to the set for Wizard of Oz. I'd feel bad about making fun of Stokely, but I really don't. He's short and annoying, and not in a good way. So, Private Party won with a roll-up. Yay. Hey, we want to face you again, and we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. If we lose, we split up. Oh, look! Right Said Mox is in the ring because Marina Shafir was driving and didn't crash because she can't cut a promo, so I'm amazed she can drive. But anyway, Right Said Mox attacks, and then they get Chuck Taylor there, and they are going to Pillmanize his ankle, but then they decide to Pillmanize his neck. But Claudio is like looking like, hey, is Cassidy coming? Is Cassidy coming? And then he just decides to do the stomp because it's taking forever. And then Cassidy gets there not a moment too late. This is horrible, Shivani says. I agree. I love wrestling, and I love certain people in AEW. And I mean, at least I'm trying to review it weekly, because I pretty much shelved reviewing WWE weekly, except on occasion. This was a bad show. This was a really bad show. These storylines are not really going much of anywhere. The ones who are trying to grow don't really work. And I'm sorry, this stuff with Mox, it's not good. Because I don't buy into this group. Why? Where was Pac? Was Pac in the ring and I just totally missed him? Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.